My name's Talha. I am currently was working in sustainable agriculture and partnership development down in Ecuador, and now I'm back in Toronto and trying to find work. For Casa del Sol, once I'd found them, so I found them through Advisor. They had really good reviews. Everybody was very much so raving about them. So that was one piece of it. Another piece of it was I was looking at different centers, but some were much too expensive, and other ones just didn't have the vibe I was looking for. When I looked at Casa del Sol, I really felt like this level of integrity that came with their center, and then including Santiago and Jimena and the people there, and then also the small group sizes. I think that was more essential to me than having like a very large. At first, I was a little bit worried. It's like, okay, we're taking some medicine and then we're going hiking. But then once you actually get on the hikes, it's fine. Like as long as you have a hat, because it gets pretty hot and sunny up there sometimes. But overall, I think it was an important part of the journey to do those things, like to get moving and to process while you're moving, especially on the San Pedro, as opposed to just sitting in one spot, even though that can be nice sometimes. So with San Pedro, it felt like it was almost working on the outside. Like it was inside too, but it was working from the outside and actually like pulling things out, like almost vacuuming them out. And is like as it was vacuuming them out, you'd have to face them and deal with them. Whereas ayahuasca felt like it was literally like drilling into you. And it was like digging deeper and deeper. You could feel it digging deeper and deeper and scraping all of the things out. And then as it would like dig them out, you would have to deal with them, and then it would finally come to like a stop and hit a lesson. And both of them would do that, but that really San Pedro was much more gentle in its approach, whereas ayahuasca was like, no, we're going straight in here. So yeah, everything the way that was handled, it just felt very safe and very secure. And that was a particular concern for me, as well as like if I go to a particular center, like how is that vibe going to be in terms of that safety and security. And I knew as soon as I met Santiago and Jimena, like I was in good hands. I knew they could handle themselves. I knew they could handle the group. And the food was amazing. The food was really good. And the land itself was just like very, very special, and having the options, especially on those rest days, to kind of go in and out, that kind of made things easier as well. And, we weren't just in the center, which was nice, to just kind of get some movement. Like otherwise I feel like it's nice to be in one place sometimes, but then you can feel cooped up too if you stay there for too long. So it was good to have that mix between staying in the center most of the time and then having days here and there to explore. In terms of the structured ceremonies, I mean, I was like so deep in my own experiences that sometimes it was like it was I mean the structure just kind of went the way it went. Like it felt like there was some level of structure, but then it was also kind of free flow in terms of how, like, I'm sure they know what their structure is. I don't completely know. But the way it kind of went in terms of like how they brought together the music and their actual like practices in terms of cleansing, and I part of me doesn't want to like give away exactly what they are, but there was definitely a good flow to them. And they, when they're doing their work, when they're singing their songs and they are bringing you into that world, they are like bringing you into that world. So it's like, it's powerful, and I've been part of various different ceremonies before, and I can feel the difference of when somebody's just doing something and playing the song and dance, like, and it's like maybe something's kind of happening but not really, as opposed to when somebody's like really deeply engaged, and you can feel the energy in the room, you can feel the movement in yourself, you can feel how it's affecting other people, and with them it's like that was present, that energy was thick in the room. And so everything that was happening, like, and don't get me wrong, part of it is the medicine, but I've also done it ceremonies without medicine and had similar experiences, so it's real for me. What I would say to that is definitely if you come in with some sort of like practice, some sort of either meditation practice or some sort of like spiritual practice or whatever it is, something that you use to help you kind of grow, I feel like that really helps, as opposed to coming in just being like, okay, I guess I'm just going to see what happens. I feel like with these medicines, you do have to treat them with a certain sense of respect. It's like, like that if you go in for a job, like you're not going to just show up in like whatever outfit and just like, like talk shit, or, like you're going to want to be professional. You're going to want to show up in a way that is going to be like conducive to you getting that job. Right. And I feel like it's not that this needs to be treated like a job, but it needs to be treated with that sense of like level of like professionalism and respect. Like you're going into a journey inside yourself. And when you meet yourself, it's like you want to show up in a good way, And so I would highly recommend anybody considering doing ayahuasca or San Pedro. It's like, if you're going to show up, like you got to show up, you know what I mean? Like, don't like, like follow the plan that they've given you. Like really, really listen to the advice in terms of like, what you're eating and how you're, conducting yourself like the week or two, even the month before, and coming into the retreat, and like, what are your mindsets, right? Like, what are your intentions? I personally, for me, I came in with a very open mindset. I was asked what my intentions were, but my intentions were really just medicine. Show me what I need to focus on. Like, show me what I need to see, and other than that, it's like, I was just staying open to whatever happened. And I think that's important, and you can have intentions as well, but that's just the way I did it. And it worked for me. And then I definitely got shown what to focus on. So there's some very specific lessons. And then in terms of the concern, I think there'll always be like some level of nervousness. And sometimes you should like listen to that. It's like, feeling into that. Why are you feeling nervous about it? And kind of facing that fear before you go in. But at the same time, it's also tends to be a leap of faith, right? Like you just have to kind of, if you really feel the call to do it, then you do it, and realizing that this is a choice that you have to ultimately take responsibility for, which is something Santiago really likes to say. But it's true, it's like, if you are making this choice, then after that, it is also your responsibility, right? So you have to do the work afterwards, because the work happens to a degree in the ceremony, but it's really what happens after and how you integrate it into your life after that is the real medicine. So it's like that, and that to me is like the most important part, because you can do the medicine and then you can come home and go back to the same person you are. But that's not the point, like you really have to take responsibility for what you get from the medicine, show up fully, and then use it to make the changes in your life that you found, like use those lessons. Other than that, it's like, it's just, I really recommend, it's like treating it with that level of respect, because it's not just something you do off the cuff, it's like, you want to do it coming in, like knowing this is like serious work. And there's going to be fun moments. I had some really fun moments. There's some like beautiful moments like that, but it's like, it is serious work. So yeah. I guess one more thing, like, like one of the things that the medicine taught me, and one of the things I'm like working on right now is like leaning into fears. So it's like, if you're afraid of something or you're avoiding something, especially once you do take the medicine, it's like you really have to learn to like lean into the fear. You have to learn to like move into it with a sense of courage, right? Like, even though it feels uncomfortable. So, but really you got to check in with yourself. It's like, is this the right thing for you? Because it's not right for everybody. I'm not going to lie about that. Like, everybody needs to take their time to really know, like, this is the right thing for them,